Hello again and welcome back to our 101 How to Cope Without Therapy. Today I have a buzzword, and the buzzword is change. Change has been, I actually tried to make a video about transformation without having to use the word change. Nothing wrong with it. I think we all do at different paces, at different times. It's just that the more you read about it, you hear so much about change these days that I came across it again in one of the studies that I'm doing, and it almost made me close the book. And then I thought to myself, nah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure it out. What on earth it is that they're talking about change again in this context. Because, believe it or not, depending on which book it is that you pick up, or which course, or which advertising, or which whatever, yes, they all advocate change, but they seem to all have this lovely approach of mindfulness, and you have to tackle that change with 3 steps before, and you have to think about everything, and you have to be responsible, and you have to think about the consequences, and you have to learn things first, and you have to, anyway, there's a lot around change. So I found something, there was doing this research bit. I thought to myself, no, there's something I read of change, and remember at some point I told you about one of my lovely favorite books, which is called The Dance of Intimacy of Dr. Harriet Lerner. So in this lovely book, there she goes about change, and she goes like small changes, okay? And this is page 14. She goes, a conservative approach to personal change also means that we proceed slowly and with the understanding that our moves forward will be accompanied by inevitable frustrations and derailments. The only thing that I agree with here is that it will be inevitably accompanied by frustrations and derailments. I'm not so sure about proceeding slowly. Those of you that are wiser, you probably do that. You probably take your time. You probably are not comfortable with change, don't like it, not your thing. It goes on. Thinking small provides us with the opportunity to observe and check out the impact of each new behavior on a relationship system, and to sit with the benefits and costs of change. Okay, so take it easy, small steps, baby steps, think about the behavior, think about the impact, okay? It also mitigates against our natural tendency to move in with a big bang and then drop out entirely when initial responses are not to our liking. And basically this is where I kind of sit and I kind of recognize myself. It says here that our natural tendency is to move in with the big bang and make the change. Well, there are some of us also that have absolutely no problem with change, because, and it doesn't have to be small or slow of any kind, purely because we thought about the slowness and we thought about the impact, and instead of having dripping bits of poison air around, we would rather just cut the cord and unplug and deal with it and cry for a week or 2 or 3 and then just move on. Now, the outcome may be different. Yep, completely agree. But guess what? There is no book that says one is right and the other one is wrong. So basically, whichever way you choose to change because it suits you, be it the fact that you're a slow changer or don't like change at all, or you're one of those like me that basically go in it, take it or leave it. Why? Well, I already have an A, B, C, D, E because this is why, that's what happens, and this is what causes me. And if it is about pain, well, guess what? No one really likes it. So at some point, change and pain, as much as they go together, I'd rather have the extra shot right there and then. On the next page, once we turn the page, Dr. Lerner, she goes like, at the same time, change is inevitable and constant. No matter how effortfully we resist, no matter how hard we try to hold the clock still or attempt to view our world in static terms, we are always evolving and forever monitoring our steps in that complex dance of change. So it goes on, it is indeed a slow dance that we do with ourselves and others. I'm not so sure about the slow part, but that's how the way she describes it. Again, probably a matter of recipe. You know, some people like salt, some people like pepper. I don't know. Moving back and forth between our will to change and our will not to change, between other people's desires for us to change and their anxiety and protest about our doing so, or the other way around. Because if I am one of those that changes on the spot and you don't, well, that, my lovely friend, will cause me anxiety, protest, maybe not resistance, but let's say frustrations. And those would be between our own wish for closeness when anxiety about isolation sets in, and our need for distance when togetherness gets too sticky or suffocating. And you know what? It's a long way to have togetherness to start with, let alone make it suffocating in today's world anyway. So the challenge of change is greatest when a relationship becomes a source of negative energy and frustration, and our attempts to fix things only lead to more of the same. Once a relationship is stuck, the motivation to change things is not sufficient to make it happen. Many distant relationships are also intense because distance is one way we manage intensity. I don't know. My point is, you do need a PhD to write a book on intimacy and change in relationships. But the truth is, what that book says is that change happens whether we like it or not. And as much as some of us don't like it, don't get it, those of us that do, it's not that we like change, it's that it's the avoidance of maintaining things in a place that causes anxiety or frustration or whatever the heck else the book said. So sometimes we don't want change because of the goal of what's the end of it. Sometimes we just want change because right here, right now is suffocating, it's frustrating, it's not okay. So for those cases, some of you, I don't know, take it slow if you can, do whatever baby steps of change you feel like. But for those of you that, like me, would rather pull the pin, have the big bang, and see what happens, because whatever it has been happening, it's not okay, then go for it. There's no recipe. No one says when is right, when it's wrong. Change is change. You're gonna have to deal with it anyway. So do it. Go ahead. Deal with it. Stop whatever causes you pain, whatever causes you frustration. Just put an end to it. It's the most simplistic way I can think about it. Why stay in something that causes you pain? It makes absolutely no sense. For the sake of what? For the sake of no change? For the sake of nothing better? For the sake of something that resembles to nothing? I wouldn't be able to do that. So take your pick, whichever it is, slow, fast lane. Do it your way. Just choose the painless bit, the part that doesn't make you bitter. Keep the part that makes you happy. Keep the part that keeps you kind. Keep the parts that were beautiful. But move on. It's time. If things don't change for the better, guess what? Close the book. Do your own change. That's all I had for today. I'm Gabriella. Thank you so very much, and I shall see you tomorrow.